Good early morning, everyone. We're over here at Disney's Pop Century Resort because today what we're actually going to be doing is we're coming over to meet up with some of Kayla's family. But I want to take you guys on a little adventure of what is it like to take the Disney Skyliner, probably one of the best transportation tools here at Disney World, and take it from Pop Century all the way over to Epcot International Gateway and back. And what does that look like? How fast does it take? How long does it take? And what does it look like for morning entry and throughout the day? So we're gonna head on over. We just got over here to Pop Century. Gotta go on over and head on through the Classic Hall to get to probably the stupidly long line that is for the Skyliner. Still say that Pop Century is one of my absolute favorite resorts on property. It's
your favorite value, right?
Yeah, it's my favorite value resort.
I like Art of Animation.
See, Art of Animation is good, but like I think the thing I like about Pop Century is just like it's very Disney-esque.
Did you know that part of Art of Animation used to be a dream to be the rest of Pop Century?
Yes. So
then they took it down and built Art of Animation.
Well, so the original plan was that Pop Century was already built. And then they're gonna have the 1900s through the 1940s. But that plan never came to fruition because it was the post 9/11 time, and travel went down drastically. So
it was, did you say after 9/11?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when it was.
Yeah, it was after 9/11.
They actually had
and it was in the recession that caused a lot of issues as well.
They actually had the 19 what years were supposed to be over there? 2000?
No, 1900 through the 1940s.
They had the signs up there, and then they had that when they did Art of Animation.
Yeah. So kind of an interesting thing to know that this was supposed to be a secondary, and even the Little Mermaid buildings over at Art of Animation are original buildings to what would have been the Pop Century buildings. So if you are staying at Pop Century and you are looking to where the Skyliner does go, so we went through the Classic Hall as you saw. Now you're into the 70s. You're going around the flower petal pool, and if you're looking for it, it is straight back. Now, do not be deterred by the long line for the Skyliner, because sometimes I have seen when one of the first times the Skyliner had opened, the line was all the way out to here. And within 10 minutes,
so mad.
No, within 10 minutes though, it was gone.
Oh yeah, it goes really fast.
Like, people don't realize that the Skyliner can move so many more people than really any other transportation service here at Disney. And it's actually like been probably one of the biggest things, because the Skyliner now takes precedence for the Pop Century, for Art of Animation, Caribbean Beach, and Riviera. And the amount of people it can move in an hour or just in time is amazing. So to give you kind of a quick idea, there's the Skyliner station, which this is probably the coolest station because you go over water, but the line goes all the way up, down, around, this way, all the way up, and there's the end of the line. Now, here is the funny thing about it. It's a long line, 5-10 minutes at most to get on, because it's constantly loading. And the nice thing about the Skyliner is, if you are someone who travels in a wheelchair or a scooter or like anything that you need more time because of like mobility issues, is that they actually pull a Skyliner like bucket off, and it's actually on a separate area where it loads, so you have plenty of time, you don't feel rushed, and everything, and it gives you a chance to be able to get on safely. And then what happens then is that when you get to the next station, it then will take you back off the line to slowly bring you off again. But it doesn't affect the rest of the operation, because once one comes off for those mobilities, those scooters, those wheelchairs, another one comes in behind it. So it's constantly moving and never stops. And the reason it never stopped is there was an issue with the actual loading for everyone else. Alright, so now we are in line, and it is 7:37. So let's see how long this line actually takes from being all the way back here, all the way to the front to getting onto the Skyliner itself. So kind of surprised it took a little bit longer, but what we just realized what they're doing is, so this line is coming from the Pop Century side, there is a second line coming from the Art of Animation side, and what they're doing is having us merge at the very front here. So it's causing the line to be a little bit longer, because we've been in line since, we got in line at 37, and now it's 7:57, so it's taking about 20 minutes to get on this line, or get on the Skyliner. Well, this is fun. The Epcot line, into line, is right here and goes up and around, and then they'll send you across to get over to Epcot, and that's the line right now to get over to Hollywood Studios. So I thought honestly the Epcot line would be a lot less, but this is the main like center hub for the Skyliner. This is where they store them during hurricane season. This is where you get all 3 lines come in. So this is the line that we just rode that came from Pop Century and Art of Animation. There is the line across the way from us that's Hollywood Studios, and then the other one that takes you to Epcot/Riviera. Right now it's 8:07. We got in the line for the Epcot. I'm curious how long this is going to take because going from here to Epcot's about 15 minutes on the Skyliner. So we'll see how long it all takes. Okay, so going from that line through the middle line to this line, we got in line at that 8:07. It's 8:16 right now, so it's going to take about 10 minutes for a full line. So far, it's taken us a little over 40 minutes just to get from in line at Pop Century to get through this. And then I think, like I said, this takes another 15 to 20 minutes to get us over to Epcot. We were trying to get over there for early entry, and it doesn't look like we'll get there quite when that starts. Alright, so to get from Pop Century all the way back over to here took about exactly an hour with a few lines and everything. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into Epcot, we're going to do some road drop, and then we will come back out and we'll show you the experience of riding it from Epcot back to Pop Century. Alright, so now that we are done with Epcot, we are now going to show you guys the experience of riding the Skyliner from Epcot all the way back to Disney Pop Century, and also just how long it takes. So right now it's about 9:52, 9:53 right now. See how long it takes to get from here all the way back to Disney's Pop Century Resort. Now be mindful that later in the day it's busier, and especially after fireworks it may take longer, and I have heard that it can take up to 30 minutes to get onto the Skyliner, just like getting on a bus or a monorail or anything. So we'll see how long it takes us this morning. The one downside though to the Skyliner from this station to Caribbean, because this is all connected with a Riviera stop in the middle, is that when it does have to slow down at Disney's Riviera to let anyone on who has a scooter, wheelchair, or anything, it does slow the entire line down. Like we were talking about earlier, when you come up to one of the hard stations like this, they can pull one of the gondolas off to load people into scooters, wheelchairs, mobility issues, and all that nature. So it makes it, they don't slow down the system or gondolas any more than they already sometimes can. Okay, I'm glad we got one of the gondolas that does not have the wrap on it. Having the wrap on it is fine, because it's cool to look from the outside, but from the inside it's kind of like it deters the view. So, but I do like the fact that there is no AC units in these, but they do have the open aired, and there's also air that goes behind your back as well. So it does keep you cool. So like during the summertime, everyone complained about it being too hot. What I do love is you get this great view of where Remy's and behind the France Pavilion. You see, the crowds are already starting to pick up a little bit.
Oh, you can smell the crepes.
You can go right over the crepe station stands. Like this is the crepe restaurant right there. So I think one of the other downsides one of the downsides to Skyliner is that if you stay at Disney's Riviera Resort, sometimes in the mornings when you're trying to get to the parks, it could actually take longer for that station than it is like getting on at Pop, getting on at the main central hub, or even getting on at the Epcot one to go to Hollywood Studios, because there is no one has to get off at the station. People can stay on. And so they do tend to leave some empty cabins to go, or gondolas to go around, but I still think it makes the line a little long for that one. So that's why if I prefer, like I would love to stay at Riviera, but I don't know if I would use the Skyliner to get anywhere, because unless it's like middle of the day where there's not many people, or like right now where there's not many people getting onto the gondolas. Alright, now we're at the Caribbean Beach Resort station, and it's 10:07, so that took about 15 minutes to get from Epcot to here. And now, comparison when we first got here, there's no one here now, so we're gonna walk right on and hopefully get our own one and then go right to Pop Century. So it's nice when it's not the busiest part of the day, like morning or even after fireworks. So this is my favorite part, this like line, because when you come in over Pop Century and Disney's Art of Animation, you come over the water. But I also think that's my favorite station. Like I like this station, but that station is the coolest in my opinion. But I do love, like, it's essentially taking off. Whee! And then up back into the sky again. So this we were talking about earlier about how Pop Century, this was the original building they had. This was the first building they had built for the Golden Ages, is what it was called or something. It was the original 1900s and 40s. And this is the building they had already built. The other two, so like the Lion King, Nemo, and Cars, weren't built.
This sat empty for a very long time.
Yeah.
It was already built, it just sat empty.
Right, so these are what you would classify as like your normal rooms like you have at Pop Century, but then the rest are more like family suites.
Hourglass Lake.
But then you then have Pop Century on the other side, which again, still probably one of my favorite value resorts ever, but I do love this station because like you see you kind of glide in over Hourglass Lake. The reason it's called Hourglass Lake was because it was supposed to be the time between the 1900s, 1940s to the rest of them.
Just a few moments. We will be arriving.
But I've always loved Art of Animation. It's such a cool looking resort. I want to stay in one of those rooms. I want to stay at every
I want to stay at the Lion King one.
Yeah, I know you would. That's I like the Cars one though too.
I stayed at the Cars, it's pretty cool.
I've never stayed at Art of Animation though.
Yeah.
Done Pop, Old Key West, all those, but never stayed at Art of Animation. Alright, so now we are back to Pop Century, and it only took about 20 minutes from the time that we got to the front of the Skyliner to back to Pop Century. So when there's no crowds, 20 minutes, and that's actually pretty good, because sometimes you can wait up to 20 minutes for a bus. So, but in my mind, Skyliner, 100% worth it. If you're staying at Pop Century, Caribbean, Art Animation, it is 100% worth the extra little bit of money you spend. Despite how long it took this morning, you'd almost wait the same amount of time and you'd be stuffed into a tight little bus. So, but honestly, Skyliner, always fantastic. Now that we are back to Pop Century, we are gonna go ahead and head out to go take care of some things and everything else. But I hope you guys enjoyed the Skyliner trip and adventures. Let me know down in the comments if you've ever ridden the Skyliner and what do you like it or do you not like it, and why do you not like it, and all that stuff. So, but with all that being said, make sure you check out all of our other Disney park adventures right here. We have a lot of them to go through, hours and hours of footage and everything else. So make sure you check all that out. But with all that being said, as we do head on out from the Skyliner and Disney's Pop Century Resort, we'll see y'all next time.